quick mic check. I think that's working. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to My Tutor AI Squads. This is day 5, and today we are going to be looking at text recognition and creating our very own chatbots. Just like every other session, we will be starting at 5 past, so feel free to just chill. Wait for 5 minutes, and then we'll be right on our way. But yeah, sit back, relax. This should be quite an interesting session today. We're covering quite a lot of different topics on the history of chatbots and natural language processing and how to build your very own chatbot. So yeah, I'm excited to see you all here. Hi there, Evangeline. Welcome. And yeah, as always, if you wouldn't mind just quickly writing in the chat, like, hi, how are you, kind of thing. Just how you've been, how your week's been, and that'd be great. Evangeline asked, how am I? I'm good. I'm pretty good. It's been quite a nice day. Haven't been up too much today. I got to play with a drone today as part of my university work. That was quite fun. Having a pretty good day. Hello there, Annabelle. Nice to see you again. It's what I think is really nice right now is that I'm starting to recognize people who watch consistently, which is quite cool. I'm starting to recognize names and viewers, it makes me very happy. So, thanks for everyone who's carries on to watch every week. It makes me smile. And our mod's back. Hello. So like every session, we will start at 5 fast. So feel free to grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a glass of water, a cup of tea, coffee, whatever you like to drink, and sit back, relax, and yeah, we'll be starting in 3 minutes. Oh, another thing I should mention today is we will most likely be using Python today. So I would recommend getting up or creating an account on this website called Replit. It's basically an online Python compiler, and it allows you to run Python programs from your computer. And if you need to use any libraries, which we are using today, it allows you to download those libraries without actually having to do anything on your actual computer. I will show you this website just before we begin, so don't worry about anything right now, but the name of the website is Replit, so I recommend you use that. Someone said in the chat, my Python does not work. It should work fine on Replit because it's on the browser. So you don't, even if your Python is not working on your computer, or you've got a really bad IDE that doesn't work or anything like that, don't worry, it should work fine on your browser, which is the thing you're using to watch this, because I am of a school computer. You should still be able to use Replit on your school computer. If not, let me know, and you could always look at the code and then try it out separately at another time. But it should work because it's all on the browser, so you don't need to download anything or install anything. You can leave your school computer all happy and dandy. It should be fine. Oh, also, as the mod is posted in the chat, there is a link to share these squads. If you wouldn't mind clicking that link, you can share it with your friends. Also, later on, there will be posted a form that you can fill out, and that form, if you wouldn't mind filling it out, it only takes about 5 minutes. It's really easy. It just helps us because it tells us, what we're doing right, what we're doing maybe not so right, and it just, it helps us out, makes us better vlogs for you. So, I would really appreciate if you could fill that out. But, we will start in about 30 seconds. So, wait for that. While everyone's waiting, I will put up the presentation up on the screen just to make sure it's working right. So that is the presentation that now should be up on the screen. If you can see it, please let me know by just typing yes or no into the chat so I know that I've done it correctly. Okay, Annabelle says yes. I believe that means that you can see the presentation. So, hi everyone, welcome back to AI Squads. This is with my tutor. So today we are looking at chatbots and text classification, and we'll be making a program using machine learning for kids, which those of you who have been here before would have heard about this and used this a lot, so you guys will be very familiar, but yeah, that is what we're doing today. So we'll start with the main question, which is, can I build a chatbot? And the answer is, yes, you can. You can build a chatbot. And it's a lot simpler than you might think. Can we build a chatbot that is the most amazing, most powerful chatbot within half an hour? No, but we can build a chatbot, and that is what we're going to do today. So just to give you a quick recap on what the type of algorithm that we're going to use today, we are going to be using supervised learning today, and we're going to be using classification, which is the one circled here. Those of you who have been here for the past few weeks would have heard this before and don't need the refresher too much, but for those of you who are just joining us, classification is a type of algorithm where it puts things into different categories. Sometimes these are called classes, and here's a little GIF to kind of show you what I mean. So it sorts things depending on which category. And that's pretty much it. That's the general look at it. If you want more of an in-depth talk on it, I recommend you check out lesson 2. That goes a bit into depth about different types of learning and different types of algorithm, not just classification. But that's the one we're using today. So before we begin, I think we should have a quick history lesson into chatbots. Be warned, this is a very brief overview. I do not have the time to talk about every single chatbot has been created, but these are some of the most well-known ones. So first of all, let's start with this guy. Does anyone recognize this man here? Anyone at all? If you don't, just type no. But hopefully, I'm hoping one person has seen this man's face before, because he's very famous. Famous in the world of computing. Okay, yeah, we've got some correct. So Daniel and Annabelle both said Alan Turing, and you are correct. This is Alan Turing. Anyone know why Alan Turing is famous? Anything he's done? Anyone know why he might be famous? Correct, right? So he made the Turing machine. Yeah, you guys have all got it. Brilliant. I honestly thought that was going to be more difficult than it was. So yes, Alan Turing is a very famous scientist, computer scientist, logician, mathematician, and as well as many things he did with the Enigma machine, he also created something called, the Turing test. Anyone heard of the Turing test before? Oh wait, Annabelle already wrote. Didn't he make the Turing test for computers? So Annabelle's heard of it. Yes. So what the Turing test is, basically, he proposed the question, can machines think? So he laid out the basis for the Turing test, which is a way to measure whether you're speaking to a human or a machine. And he published this in an article. So by proposing this standard for machine intelligence, Alan Turing basically made a challenge for all computer scientists to try and pass this test. Can a machine fool humans into thinking it's also a human? So the first big one is Eliza. So this was created in 1966 by a guy called Joseph, I'm going to mess up his surname here, but Weizenbaum. And in 1996, he created Eliza. Now, Eliza failed the Turing test, but Weizenbaum laid out the foundation for chatbots. Back in the day, they were called chatterbots, and laid out the structure for keywords, specific phrases, and programmed response. The way Eliza worked is sort of kind of like a therapist, as she would repeat what you said in the form of a question. And you can actually still try out Eliza today. If you search up Eliza chatbot, you can find mock-ups of it all over the internet. So pretty cool. A few years later, in 1972, a guy called Kenneth Colby, who was an American psychiatrist working in Stanford AI laboratory, developed a chatbot called Parry, and this simulated a person with schizophrenia. And this was quite clever, as only half the people were able to identify whether Parry was a real person or a machine. The problem with a lot of these older chatbots is they essentially played tricks on human intelligence. So they could answer a lot of questions, but maybe only on a specific subject, or they would play specific characters, like someone with paranoia or schizophrenia, to hide the fact they're artificial intelligence. And this would cover up a lot of the flaws in their language or maybe answering questions. Nowadays, however, we have a lot more chatbots. They have expanded both in intelligence and the amount of them. So I'm going to put a few of them up on the board. Let's see if anyone can guess them. So this is the first one. Anyone recognize this logo? Anyone know which one this is? Okay, one person's got it. Well done, Daniel. Anyone else? Yeah, brilliant. So this is Siri. So Siri came out in 2010, and it's a virtual assistant. So it can help with making to-do lists or answering questions on the internet. It does have its limits as well. It can't answer every question, and some of the processing is, it can't process every single question, but it's pretty good. This one might be a little bit more difficult. Anyone recognize this one? Some of you, if you've watched some older YouTube videos, might recognize this one. If you don't recognize it, just type no, and I can move on. Someone's guessed Alexa. Close, not exactly. Annabelle says chatbot. It is a chatbot. It's a type of chatbot. I wonder if anyone's going to guess one. Cortana, good guess, but no, not exactly. I'll take one more guess, and then I'll put you guys out of your misery. Anyone think they might know? Okay, yes, we've got some, I think, correct guesses there. Annabelle says, is her name Eve? You're so close, you're one letter off, but Daniel got it. It is EvieBot, or Evie. I would have also accepted Cleverbot. So these kind of Cleverbot, EvieBot kind of things, they popped up around, I can't remember, I think it was around 2010 as well. And the way these ones work is they have a huge database of people's responses, and they use that huge database of people answering questions or submitting their own questions and answers, and they use that to form the basis of the chatbot, which in theory is a great idea, because then you have a database to work from thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people. However, this can sometimes prove to be a little problematic, as sometimes it can give you very weird answers depending on the context, and you can't always trust that people are going to take it seriously. A lot of times they will give very, very weird answers, or they'll give a lot of quite meme responses. If you ever ask one of these chatbots to call a response meme, it's normally pretty good at that. But any other question, it can give varied responses. Okay, next one. Let's have a look. Anyone recognize this one before? I think someone's already said it, but I'll see if anyone recognizes this one. Okay, yep, you guys got it almost instantly. This is Alexa. Alexa appeared in 2015. So this is a voice interaction one, and it can do a variety of different things like playing music, setting alarms, streaming audiobooks, and it can provide voice commands to the user using language processing algorithms. Great job. And finally, we've got this one. This is quite a modern one. Anyone recognize it? Oh, yeah, I think maybe some people have got it. Okay, yep, Daniel, you got it. It's ChatGPT. So this is a very new one. This one came out in 2022. It is currently only a prototype, but it's very, very powerful. It can give. It's got quite a lot of attention for the amount of detailed responses and articulated answers, particularly through many domains of knowledge, and the fact that it can figure out different contexts on which you're talking about, which is quite powerful. So yeah, great job. I was surprised that you managed to get so many of them. But that's a quick history lesson into what chatbots are. There are lots of different ones I didn't mention. For example, IBM's Watson, made in 2001, and there were lots of different ones made in the 90s. If you're interested about them, you can find so many different resources online. They will explain the history of all different chatbots. But this was just a brief overview. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Before I move on, do you guys have any questions you want to ask, or shall we just get into it? Okay. Evangeline says, let's start. Let's do that then. So, back to me. So I'm just going to quickly put the website that we're going to use today, which is Machine Learning for Kids, up on the screen. I'll also put a link to it in the chat as well. So this is the link to the website. It's machinelearningforkids.co.uk. You don't need a login or anything for it, but this is what it should look like when you got to the website. One thing you're going to need as well for today is we're going to be using Python. So you are going to need an account in Replit. So this is Replit. I'll also link this in the chat as well. Basically, it's an online Python compiler, so you can write programs in Python without having to download anything. You can make an account with Google or Microsoft or Apple. It's really easy. It takes like 2 seconds. And that is what we'll be using today. So we've got two websites, one called Machine Learning for Kids, one calling Replit. I'm going to stop for a sec and let you guys type all this out. And then when you're ready, let me know and we will get started. I have to go eat my dinner, but enjoy the rest of the session. That's fine. Thank you so much for showing up, Daniel. Yeah, go enjoy your dinner. Alrighty. For the rest of us, I will get started. I'll go quite slow so you guys have plenty of time to catch up. and if you need to, you can always pause the video or move back a bit, and you'll be able to see all of the content. So the way you get started is you're going to press, surprisingly, the button Get Started. And you can now press Try It Now without registering. You don't need an account just to try out this program. So have we used machine learning for kids before? Yes, we have used it before. We've used it a few times. So I don't need to go through it too much, but I'll just go through it for people who haven't seen this before. But just to let you know, you're going to press Start Project, and then you're going to give the project any name you want. So I'm going to call it ChatBot. And this time we're going to recognize text. Now, before we've recognized images, but today we're doing text. And please keep the language as English. And then once you've got that, then you've got your workspace to get started. So for this chatbot, you'll need to decide a topic, and it should be something that you know well enough to be able to answer questions about. So it could be a place, like the town you live. It could be an animal, like, I don't know, tigers or owls, whatever you like. It could be an organization, so I know some of you are at school right now, so it could be about your school. It could be something from history. It could be a video game you really like, whatever you like. But you need to choose one specific topic. So for me, I'm going to be doing it on owls, because I really like owls. And then once you've decided on your topic, you're now going to have to decide about 2 or 3 questions that someone might ask about in your topic. So for me, for owls, it could be, what do owls eat? Where in the world do owls live? How big do owls grow? What types of owls are there? So you want to come up with about 2 or 3 questions and keep those in mind. So the first thing we need to do is we need to train our project. So in the training section, you're going to create 2 or 3 labels, and each label will have a word that sums up one of the questions that you had from before. So one of my questions was, what kind of food do owls eat? So I'm going to write the label food. So another question I had was, how long do owls live? So I'll write lifespan. You should kind of see where this is going. And I think my third question is going to be, how big do owls get? So I'll write size. So you want one word to describe each question. Hopefully that should make sense. Then once you've got your 3 buckets for your questions, then you will need to write an example of that question. And you'll need to come up with about 3 to 5-ish examples of how someone could answer that question. And you want them all to be slightly different from each other. So, for example, let me start with food. I'm going to start with, what sort of food do owls eat? But then I could also write, what do owls eat? What do owls like to eat? So you know what I mean? They're all the same question. They're all asking the same thing. But the point of processing language is that someone might ask a question, but using a slightly different form of language or context. So these are things that machine learning algorithms for chatbots have to consider. And therefore, you have to consider it. So I'm going to carry on with my questions. Probably add about 2 or 3 for each. I will slow down here. Sorry, Evangeline. I'll slow down here. I'll type out my questions and then I'll leave it up for a little bit so you guys can come up with your topics. I also realized that I have come up with my topic already. Maybe you guys haven't come up with your own topic, and that's fine. I will slow down after this point and let you guys type out. Okay, and I'll say how live. And then size. Else. So you only want about 3 or 4 questions. If you can think of more, feel free to add more. But we'll keep it at that. So I'm going to leave that up there for about a minute or two, and then I'll move on. Why do we have to put a question mark? The only reason I put a question mark is because you're asking a question. Because each of these are going to be questions, so I'm predicting that the user would most likely, at the end of their question, use a question mark, but I guess you don't have to add a question mark if you don't want to. I'm also wondering what people have chosen as their topics. If you can't think of a topic, feel free to use owls. Owls is fine, but I'm wondering what other people have chosen for theirs. Alrighty, guys, I am gonna move on because I don't want to run over again. But hopefully this should all be pretty explanatory on what you need to do for this step. Feel free to carry on with this step, and then you can always, move on as you need to. I'll also post the code up on the screen, and I'll have that as the last thing that you have on the screen, so you don't need to worry about pausing or making sure that you've typed everything. Should be all up there. So once you've got all of your questions, so my ones are for food, for lifespan, and for size, you're going to click back to project. You're going to click learn and test, and then this will, as a lot of you have already seen before, it should train up your model. Oh, I haven't made enough examples for each. Whoops, I'll quickly add in a few more examples. I guess the hardest part of this would be to think of questions. There we we go, that should be enough. Right. And then, like I said before, you're going to click Learn and Test. This should be pretty self-explanatory. You should have all seen this before. And then you've got your model built. Now here's where it gets a little bit interesting. I'm going to run over a little bit, and what I'll do is for the last part of this video, the code will be all up on the screen, so you should be able to just copy and paste it from there. But once you trained it, you're going to click Make. And normally while we click Scratch before, this time you're going to click Python. And if you click Python, there should be click copy code to run on your computer, and you should get this whole part here. So you see this bit, this function called def classify. You're going to copy all of that. That is what you're going to use. Okay? And then the rest of the code I will show on Replit. So I already created a Replit for it. It's also public as well, so you should be able to find it. It's called Day 5 AI, but I'll also leave all the code up on the screen as well for you guys to try out in your own time. But I'll basically explain how the code works. So you're going to copy that def classify function and you're going to paste it into your code. The rest of the code I've written myself, and I'll explain it now. So the first part is we're going to need this thing called the request library. This allows us to get data from other websites, aka the Machine Learning for Kids website. And then this here answers all the questions. So this is a function that asks the user a question, takes in their answer, runs it through your machine learning algorithm, tries to figure out whether or not they've asked a question about food. I've put countries, but I should have put lifespan or size, like with my 3 different categories there. So if they've asked for food, lifespan, or size, and then it will print out an answer based on the question. So if they ask a question about food, like what do owls eat, it will go, okay, I'm going to try and figure out what that question is. Oh, they're asking about food. They eat vertebrates such as spiders. You can then replace that. You can then use this code and replace it with your own stuff. So if you did something on cars, for example, and your questions were about how fast do cars go, you might have if answer class equals speed, and then you'll print out something like they can go this fast or something like that. You can edit this code to work for your different labels that you've created. What's quite nice about this as well is that these keys here, they last for about, I believe, a week. So you can try this out and test it out with your friends and keep that code working for a long time. I'm seeing in the comments that people are asking me to slow down. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of the session, so there's not really much I can do in terms of slowing down. But what I can do is I'll leave this code up on the screen, and that will be the last thing that you'll see on the stream. So you can look at the code and copy that out, and that should be fine. But unfortunately, I will have to go in like a second. So unless there's any other questions that people have about what we've learned today or anything like that, unfortunately, my time is up. But I hope you guys enjoyed the session. I hope you guys learned a lot about chatbots and building your own chatbots yourself and learning about natural language processing. We should be doing a little bit more of this kind of stuff next week. So I hope you guys learned a lot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next week. But that is goodbye for now. And thank you all so much for showing up every week. I really enjoy seeing all your names, and seeing the same people again each week is really nice to see. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye for now. Can you copy and paste the link? Yeah, I think I can. There we go. That one should be the code that you'll need. Fantastic. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. See you later.